What will you do if your work were stolen and your existence erased from the history? Today I'm going to show you the history of Alice Guy and how she went from being the world's first female director to being recognized just as a secretary. Hi, my name is Laura and today I'm going to talk about a pioneer of the world of cinema. Alice Antoinette Guy Blaché was born on 1st July 1873 in Saint-Mandé, a town east of Paris. She was the youngest of 5 children, and from her childhood she was linked to fantasy and fiction. Her father was an editor and owner of a chain of bookstores, so literature was always part of her life. Alice's father died in 1891 of unknown causes. Following his death, she trained as a typist and stenographer, and in March 1894 she began working as a secretary at the Comptoir Général de la Photographie, where she met Léon Gaumont. On December 28, 1895, the Lumiere brothers organized the first commercial film performance in history, where 10 films of no more than 50 seconds were played. But these were documentaries that showed the daily life of cities, their people, and their landscapes. Alice Guy, fascinated by the device, talked about all the possibilities to create different stories. Then, in 1896, Alice asked Gaumont to lend her one of the cameras to make an adaptation of a French fairy tale that said that boys are born of cabbage and girls of roses. It is said that Gaumont reluctantly accepted but allowed her to do the work on Sundays so that she would not neglect his work as a secretary. And so, La Fée aux Choux, The Fairy of Cabbage, was born, the first narrative film in the history of cinema. Thanks to that creation and its success, Gaumont started making fiction and created his own production company with Alice at the head, who not only became the first director but also the first producer. Alice Guy made about 300 productions for Gaumont before she moved to United States with her husband Herbert Blaché, an English cameraman whom she married in 1907. Once the couple settled in New York, they created the production company Solex Studios. Alice did everything. She directed the comedy A Fool and His Money, which was the first film to be performed entirely by African Americans. She was one of the first people to introduce the close-up and the hand-colored, and even directed some films with a certain gender focus, such as in the year 2000, which showed a world controlled by women and in which men were confined to housework. It is estimated that Alice Guy made between 700 and 1,000 films. For many years, she had to stand alone before an industry run by men who were unwilling to accept that such a young woman was a couple of them, and above all, were unwilling to share their places in history with her. At the height of Solex Studios, Alice was forced to fulfill her role as a mother, and she ceded the management of the production company to her husband, who eventually left her for an actress and moved to Hollywood. This unpleasant situation forced Alice to return to France, where she didn't direct any more films, and her name fell into oblivion. After the divorce, several of his colleges began to claim authorships of her works, and also due to the beginning of the World War I, many of her works were lost. And that's how, my friends, the history of cinema reduced their merits to those of a simple secretary who, moreover, will most likely have been Gaumont's mistress. Yes, mistress. In 1964, Alice decided to return to the United States in the company of her daughters to try to recover her filmography, but she found almost none of her films, and the few she could locate were hidden under many names. Alice Guy died in a nursing home at the age of 95 in complete anonymity. Neither the press dedicated a few lines to her as a tribute to her contribution to cinema, nor did her autobiography, in which she lists all her films, became known. To this day, film history names Alice Guy as a Gaumont secretary and Georges Méliès as the first film director in history. There is much she did, but it is not a tribute to her. But now, you know about her existence. So, don't forget that you shouldn't keep the information given to you. Ask many questions and learn more and more. And remember that you are valuable and your existence counts. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for seeing and listening, and until the next. Bye!